Let's talk to Gil Holzman. He is the founder, president, CEO of Echo Atlantic. And more importantly, he's an Arsenal fan. Very good morning to you.
Good morning, Moose.
Okay, right. We've got 8 minutes. Tell me about your company. Let's kick off. Right, I went to your website and it says acquisition, development of upstream petroleum opportunities, frontier areas, low cost entry. You're dealing in sort of some African countries. Okay. In terms of the oil exploration, how high risk is this as a business?
First of all, exactly as you put it, oil exploration is a risky business.
Yep.
And the way to hedge the risk or to minimize the risk is to start early, to come in early into prospective oil basins, what my technical team think it's a prospective oil basin, to direct exactly to interact directly with the governments over there, to come in the stage where it's a low-cost entry, to take a large stake of every offshore exploration block that we like to explore, and further down the road to partner with much bigger companies that enables you to add a lot of technical horsepower on the one hand,
yep,
and to minimize your financial risk through all kind of partnership with bigger companies. We are quite known in the exploration world to be able to come in early into these stable jurisdictions that are prospective for oil but somewhat underexplored. And we are quite known to then being very good partners and bringing in the bigger companies. We have partners, the likes of Tullow Oil,
yep,
Total, the second biggest
yep,
super major in the world, the French super major, Africa Oil, which is a part of the Landin group, Azinam, which is a part of the Secret group. So if today we have 5 offshore blocks, we already have 12 farm-out agreements on this block. And this way we minimize the risk, first of all, to our shareholders, the financial exposure on the one hand, but also we add a lot of knowledge and experience and know-how from these bigger companies that enable us, as I said, to mitigate this kind of a risk.
Okay.
Now, you rightly pointed that oil exploration is a risky business, but on the same hand, it's the reward is amazing, because if you eventually come up with a discovery in those places or those places that we are hunting, which is an elephant hunt, what we call, then the reward is a multiple and multiple and multiple of your initial investment. And this is why I said, on the one hand, you need to mitigate the risk for exploration, but then the reward could be much higher. Luckily enough, or professionally enough, we have blocks, 5 offshore blocks in the 2 of the most hottest exploration areas in the whole world right now. We have 4 offshore blocks in Namibia, offshore Namibia, and we have 1 offshore block, the Windward block, offshore Guyana,
yep,
which is north end of South America, Caribbean Sea if you like, but it's still the Atlantic margin. In Guyana we partner with Tullow Oil and Total, and our block is right adjacent to the Exxon and Hess block, which was the subject of
there was some news on that last week, wasn't there?
There's news there for the past 2 years. They have
but further news.
Yes, they have 10 discoveries to date since May 2015 and to date, and they already reported more than 5 billion barrels of recoverable oil. They will start pumping oil end of next year, beginning of 2020,
yep,
at a rate of 120,000 barrels a day, and they will ramp it up to 5 operating fields in 2025, pumping 750,000 barrels a day. This is the Exxon block. We are on the border of this block, 6 kilometers away from the latest discovery. One of their discoveries, the Hammerhead discovery, actually looks like it extends into our block. So in many ways, we already have a discovery that we didn't drill. And we see additional, at least 10 targets, each with an average of, let's say, 300 million barrels. So in total, a potential for 3 billion barrels worth of a block. And just to give you a sense of the reward, we have 15% of this block. Let's assume we only have 1 billion barrels on this block. It's still 150 million barrels net to us, and each barrel in the ground at today's rate worth around anything between $8 to $9, but let's call it $5. So potentially we could grow to a company that will worth anything from $750 million to $1.5 billion over the course of the next year, simply because we announced last week we're going to drill this acreage starting end of May.
Okay, so suddenly we're $1 billion company. Tell me about your team.
Okay, so the team, we do things in unique way, in a different way. Our management team is very lean. I'm a founder of the company, or a co-founder of the company, and I also serve as the CEO. My co-founder, Mr. Colin Kinley, serves as the COO, and we have a CFO in place.
Yep.
So it's a team of mainly three people, three people on a full employment. However, we have a team of more than 7 geologists, geophysicists, reservoir engineers, petroleum engineers that we contract. They all a part of Colin Kinley's team. They sit in Kansas City, of all places, and we parachute them into a project on an ad hoc basis.
Right?
Yes.
Yep.
This is how we keep the company, as I said, very lean in terms of G&A, but we do enjoy more than 200 years of experience between those 7 guys to identify new prospects, to identify new opportunities, and to act as a team together with the teams of the bigger companies that we partner with, such as Tullow and Total, and to give our point of view. So
what's it like dealing with Tullow and Total? You know, the big boys. Okay, do they look down on you? Do you have to sit in a separate cafe on a day-to-day basis?
Not at all. Not at all. As I said, we are quite known to be good partners.
Yep.
And cooperative partners. You should remember that we initiated all these opportunities. It's not like I came and partnered with Total or with Tullow. It was our blocks to begin with.
Yep.
So they came into us.
Okay.
So the what we call the farm-out agreement, which sets the exact relations and how it's going to work. Naturally, this is preset, and we all work in accordance with our joint operating agreement framework. Having said that, we have such a strong relations with Tullow, for example, that we operate one block for them. We operated one block for them in Namibia, whereas they operate our block in Guyana. So there's a lot of cooperation, a lot of synergies at all levels, and as I said, we are known to be friends and good friends and good partners to work with.
Understood. Now, you mentioned on your website sort of frontier areas. Okay, in terms of these regions, are they politically sound? Are they easy places to work in, or are there sort of local difficulties?
I think Namibia and Guyana are probably one of the 2 best jurisdictions to work with.
Yeah.
And I've been all over Africa, all over South America, and in much more developed places. Namibia is, I think it's the jewel of the crown of Africa, Namibia and Botswana, one of the most stable places. There are no tribal issues over there. They speak English. They're very well organized. They have the rule of law. They are very democratic. They have elections every 5 years. You land in Windhoek, it looks like Zurich. So clean and so organized.
Right.
On the same time, Guyana, which the full name is the British Guyana, is a Commonwealth member. It's the only English-speaking country in Latin America, in South America.
Okay, didn't know that.
They still report to the Queen as a Commonwealth member. It was British until 1966. So again, it's a common law, rule of law, very democratic. Roughly half of the population are former Africans, half of the populations are former Indians, West Indies, what we call. They have elections every 5 years. They have few parties, very democratic. They're very close to the Caribbean area, to the United States. As I said, Namibia and Guyana are probably 2 of the better jurisdictions to work with in the oil exploration world.
Okay, 2019 drilling program.
Yes.
Headlines. What are the headlines?
The headlines is that we announced last week our initial drilling program. We're going to spud the first well end of May, beginning of June. We are targeting a nice target that we believe might contain 250 million barrels, but has the potential to open a much larger field that lies underneath this particular target. We are now busy. Tullow is the operator naturally, but we are now busy sourcing for the drill ship,
yep,
sourcing for all the long lead items in order to meet this time frame and the budget that we approved last week and submitted to the government. We are, together with Total, we are now looking at additional potential targets to select for yet another well that will be drilled next year, hopefully immediately after the first well. So we will announce, or we will identify the target to the market sometimes at the beginning of 2019, and then naturally we will spud the well. If you ask me where we're going to be in June or July 2019, I truly believe that we're going to be already post one discovery of one of these two wells. We are fully funded for at least a 3 or 4 wells campaign next year. And as I said, having Total with their experience and very high-level people, as well as Total next to us, it gives us a lot of comfort that we know how to eventually get the asset, get the block drilled, and discover a lot of oil that is believed to be there. So
in terms of news flow for shareholders in 2019, a busy year?
Very busy year, because as I said, we will probably select another target and we will announce another well in 2018. We are busy identifying and evaluating and negotiating additional assets in the same kind of strategy and modus of operandi in the same areas of the Atlantic margin. So we might add 1 or 2 more assets. We have Namibia. Namibia, we have 2 blocks which are already 3D covered and are drill ready. Namibia is going to see a lot of drilling activity next year with at least 1 well from Total, 1 well from Shell and Cosmos, and potentially 2 wells from Exxon. All are there as well. Exxon sits right in the middle of our 4 blocks in Namibia. We hopefully be able to announce yet another farm out in Namibia and getting ready to drill one of the 2 blocks that are drill ready. And we'll see. We'll probably have some interesting corporate news to share with the market. Very busy year with...
Very exciting. Okay. Unscripted, I always ask this, put my old hedge fund hat on. Give me 3 reasons why I should consider having your shares in my portfolio for 2019.
We are a potentially $1 billion company next year.
Yep.
Today we are traded at less than $90 million. So there's a big gap to close between the real value, which we believe we should be in, and today's current share price or market price. This is one reason. Second, Guyana is by far the hottest potato in the exploration world at the moment, and we will drill at least 1 well, probably 2 wells, middle of next year. I think most of the eyes of the industry and the investment world will look to see the outcome of these wells. And Namibia will generate a lot of drilling activity as well towards the end of next year. 2019 will be very busy, very exciting, and hopefully very successful for us.
On that note, we've run out of time, and you are the first founder, president, and CEO I've ever interviewed.
Thank you very much. And you're the first Musa I ever been interviewed by.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.